Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk faster, faster, faster. Gotta talk fast.
Welcome to an oral review of Archie Comics' Sonic the Hedgehog, reminding you to cover up all your identifying marks when at a protest. With the advent of advanced AI infusing itself with the resources of the federal government, protecting your ID is more important than ever. Wear a medical mask, generic hat, and cheap sunglasses. You can change a password. You can't change your face. You've clearly never seen Mission Impossible 2. Cover up all your tattoos, especially on your hands, wrist, arms, neck, face, and ankles. Be aware of how far clothing can stretch back under strenuous activity. If it reveals the tattoo, use the sweat-resistant makeup. Cover up moles, birthmarks, scars, and beauty marks. Use blank generic clothing in black, blue, white, or other common colors. Don't wear something recognizable. Shoes are one of the easiest things to forget and can be one of the easiest to recognize. Consider buying a pair that's specifically for protesting and nothing else. Take off all your jewelry and piercings. Don't wear makeup, or at least in your usual way. If you have any unique physical tics, like a limp or a hand habit, be aware of those.
I've noticed people like to ring their wrists. They like to do this or whatever. And it's like, I recognize you even with all of your shit on.
It makes perfect sense. It's just when I was reading hand habit out loud, I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but I figured it out. It just broke my brain for half a second.
I got you.
All these points have been used by regular people to successfully identify ICE agents. So if normal people can do that in their spare time, the federal government has entire office floors dedicated to doing the same thing full time. I'm Nick, and except for this intro, I wrote the script.
And I'm Dominic, and except for this intro, I haven't read any of today's script.
All right. Let's rock and roll. Let's talk about Sonic. Let's read some Sonic.
What are we reading today? We are reading Archie Comics Sonic the Hedgehog number. I've noticed you haven't been finishing that last line for the past 5 episodes, which is fine. I don't care. That's fine. It's fine. We are reading Archie Comics Sonic the Hedgehog number 40, Court Martial Part 1. Released in August of 1996, published in November of 1996. Written by Mike Gallagher, cover art by Patrick Spaziante and Harvey Mercadiocaso, and penciled by Dave Manock and Patrick Spaziante. The Knothole Council rejected Sonic's proposal to be roboticized, so he went off to the gym to blow off some steam when he was ambushed by Knack the Weasel. Knack turned Sonic over to Robotnik, and Robotnik roboticized Sonic. Unable to resist Dr. Robotnik's orders, Sonic wreaked havoc on his former allies, almost destroying Knothole Village in the process. In a bold and desperate move, Sally had Knuckles roboticized, creating Mecha Knuckles. The battle that ensued ended quite ugly, with both Knuckles and Sonic crashing into the Robotropolis stockpile of nuclear bombs, which then exploded, creating a substantial nuclear blast. After the bombs, Sonic's 1 billionth magic ring restored his true physical and spiritual self. However, the Knothole Council thinks that Sonic disobeyed a direct order, a mutinous act, and have put Sonic the Hedgehog in jail. Sonic the Hedgehog is jailed. Sonic is currently a prisoner in Knothole Village. Everyone is out rebuilding Knothole after Sonic's reign of destruction, except for Antoine, who is keeping an eye on him. Keeping an eye on Sonic is a strong phrase, since he's just in the general vicinity of Sonic as he is planning his parade for his coronation as the new commander. Outside the jailhouse, we see the only person who truly believes in Sonic, Amy Rose. She is protesting outside the jailhouse with a protest sign saying, "Free Sonic," and screaming out the name of a popular Stephen King novel, Shawshank, over and over again. Rotor and Sally watch with sadness as Amy protests from afar. Rotor asks Sally if Sonic will be acquitted, and Sally evades the question. Then, presumably to distract Rotor, she asks for an update on the reconstruction effort of Knothole Village. And Bunny's like, "Reconstruction? Oh, I hate reconstruction." No. "I think we should end it early and take these federal troops out of our southern lands." No. So this is Rotor. King Acorn's disaster plan was well thought out. Backup units for most of our heavy equipment were stored underground here at the jailhouse, miles from Knothole. Transportation is underway.
Daddy always thought ahead, except when Robotnik betrayed him.
You've done so well in his place, Princess.
Thanks, big guy. It's not easy being royal, especially when the strict bylaws make you court-martial. The one boy you... truly... Excuse me, Rotor.
Sally runs up to Amy and demands that Amy stop protesting and explains that the charges against Sonic are extremely serious and that a court of law will be determining Sonic's fate. She then drags Amy away. End of part 1.
So my first question here is, so King Acorn built Knothole Village? Did I interpret that right?
So according to Rotor here, King Acorn's disaster plan was well thought out. Backup units for most of our heavy equipment were stored underground here at the jailhouse, miles from Knothole. So the jailhouse is miles from Knothole, and the jailhouse is where there were stores of vital backup heavy equipment underneath the jailhouse. Does that make sense? No, but that's the situation that they're describing.
I at least get it now, because when I first read this, I was just like, I don't. So yeah, that at least, I follow.
I understand the picture they're painting. I just don't. Okay, sure. I guess sometimes not everything is in a neat little box, and you have to put places in certain other places as long as it's federal land or belongs to the city or whatever. I get that. I do understand that as someone who has attended zoning meetings. But in terms of like the reason, like, why is it in the jail? So I don't know. I'm guessing like, oh, the jail has to be far away from the population, and might as well put the backups of heavy stuff there. Sure, whatever. I'll take it.
I wanna call out a certain frame really quickly, which is specifically when Sally is comforting Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Her face, her mouth specifically looks almost like she's like a demon. Like, I don't know
which panel is this, the silhouette one?
Yeah. Look at her mouth.
I don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Are you kidding me?
We're talking about Sally or Amy?
No, Amy. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Sorry, did I say Sally?
You said Sally. Yeah. So I get it. I can see it. Yeah. No, because so you do realize that's her tongue, right?
No. What part's her tongue?
The middle part. So the top part is the top of her mouth. The bottom part is the bottom of her mouth, and the middle is the tongue.
What an interesting choice.
Yeah. Well, she's crying. So I do get it. But you're right. It does look very weird. It looks like she has two tongues, because underneath the bottom of her mouth / chin is her arm. That's her arm.
Yeah, that I understood,
okay.
Which is why it like confused me, because it's also a bold choice because Sally doesn't have a tongue and Sonic doesn't have a tongue. So just having Amy randomly have a tongue is makes also this image even more confusing.
Yeah, the tongue is drawn exactly like the chin in this specific silhouette, so it's very confusing. I'm with you there.
Yeah,
I agree. Okay. It looks wrong.
I stared at this for like a minute, and I was literally like, I do not understand like what he's trying to draw, and like, yeah, it threw me for a loop. What I'll say, I mean, I was thinking about bringing up this at the end, but I'll bring it up now, is I absolutely adore the premise of this comic.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that we are continuing the storyline from the past couple issues, which is something that hasn't been happening, and it seems like we're finally at the parts of Sonic that I hear people talking about in a way where it's like, wait till it gets into like the intrigue and the interesting aspects of the world, and like this is the stuff I like. I like the fact that immediately they were like, hey, Sonic is a threat, we got to put him in jail, even though he's Sonic the Hedgehog, he can break out at any time and whatnot. But I like I like the fact that they're going through with this trial, trying to make Sonic realize that he's not like above the law, right? Which I do feel like is a big issue with Sonic, which is like he is the strongest person there and he can kind of do whatever he wants. Right. And I don't even think he like learns his lesson here or anything. I mean, I guess is there a lesson
it's very
to learn?
Superman-esque where it's like, all right, I will follow the laws in the specific sense. I think, well, here it's less so he believes in the laws and more so he's doing it for Sally specifically, him surrendering himself.
Yeah. Yeah, so I love the premise of this comic. I like the fact that it's a continuation. I like that it seems like there are consequences to actions.
Mm-hmm. The most basic thing, right?
Yeah, right. So that's where I'm at. How do you like this first part so far?
I think it's cool. It's the falsely accused hero is a very it can be an annoying trope, but it can also be a very good one as well because it goes insular. It's very like, okay, who are your friends? Who, when the chips are down, who will come to your aid? And here it seems to be Amy Rose, which is a really cool way to reintroduce her character, right? Because it's been a minute.
The fact she's been missing for what 15 issues or something.
Yeah, which is fine. Like she clearly wasn't that integral to what they've been doing. So to reintroduce her here I think this is a great time to do it. As her number one fan and just very loyal. That's one of Amy's defining things is that just throughout the games particularly even is that yes, there's she's obsessed with Sonic and then that kind of gets slanderized, especially by the community. But really the thing to me, the thing I most admire about Amy is she is loyal. She's an extremely loyal friend, no matter what. And I'm sure there are exceptions to that, maybe, but for the most part, I remember her just being very loyal to her friends. And here it's absolutely shining through. And a really good way to like elevate her as well, and to not separate her from the rest of the Freedom Fighters, but like give her space from the Freedom Fighters, which is in a really cool way that I think the audience, I know I'm falling for it, where it's like, yeah, not falling for it, but you know what I mean? I'm being endeared. And isn't in one of the Sonic adventures, doesn't she also meet Sonic in jail or something?
Yeah. She actually she breaks Sonic out in Sonic Adventure 2.
So interesting how in this comic she is simply protesting
that's the change of her character, right?
And calling for the release of a political prisoner. Whereas in the games, she has evolved to directly using direct action to free the political prisoner.
One can only assume that these events shaped Amy in a way where she's like, I know protesting won't do anything. Let's do some direct action.
Yeah.
One question I do have is, how old do we think Amy is?
It feels very younger. It feels younger simply because she is small. She is drawn to be smaller. She is at least acting very childishly or less mature than, say, Sally. Although I guess you could say that Sally has to be the most mature out of everyone because she's the queen.
Well,
or princess.
And to read the specific line from Sally, she says, "And that's enough sarcasm from you. This child hangs on every word. Show some responsibility."
That's true.
And she was saying that to Sonic in regards to Amy. So, I guess Amy's a child.
Yeah. Yeah, so then the question is, what's the age gap here between Sonic and Sally, and then basically the Freedom Fighters and Amy? Definitely portrayed younger.
I'm just asking the questions, man.
Yeah, no, I concur.
Okay.
I mean the one panel. So it's directly next to, in page 5, directly next to the silhouetted panel. She goes as tall as Sally's neck. Do you see that?
Yeah, for sure.
So that is like substantially shorter. I mean, it could also be a height thing, but
Sonic,
as opposed
I think
to an
is
age
as tall as Sally, right?
Yeah.
So like, Amy is pretty short here because Sonic is the shortest, right?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I feel like he is. I feel like he should be.
Yeah. Court Martial, Part 2. Hip and Hop, the kangaroos from issue number 6 from the Sonic Spinball issue, are the judges in today's treason trial. With Antoine taking up the role of prosecution, Sally will be the one deciding Sonic's fate. Perhaps a conflict of interest. Thanks goodness she's a princess who won't ever let her personal feelings get in the way. Buns is tasked to guard Sonic during his trial. Buns has been outfitted with a Hedgehog hunter device on her arm, which will send a mini-guided missile tuned to seek and destroy Sonic's unique physiological aura, which was built by Rotor. The prosecution begins. Thank you, Your Majesty, and good day, Your Honors. I will be brief as this is an open and short case. This egomaniacal Hedgehog deliberately disobeyed a royal decree for his own personal glory. I call my first witness. Antoine questions Rotor, Tails, Buns, and Amy Rose with a ferociousness. His hatred/jealousy of Sonic is at full display. Antoine finishes.
I like how you delivered that tiger, Tony the tiger.
They're great. Yeah. His hatred/jealousy of Sonic is at full display. Actually, you know what? Just because we'll never have a chance to talk about Tony the Tiger ever again. Did you know this guy who voiced Tony the Tiger for the longest time also did the Grinch song? Mr. Grinch.
Oh, I could hear it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. They're great. Yeah.
I think that's very bold of you to say we'll never talk about Tony the Tiger on this podcast ever again.
Yeah, in a like every issue is literally a furry issue. So yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, like honestly, this is like the podcast where he should probably come up like once every 10 episodes.
A bear of a tiger with the widest chest and wearing nothing but a handkerchief. Okay, here we go. Antoine finishes, and Sonic comes up to the stand to present his rebuttal. Twan, you were assigned to guard the jailhouse, yet you failed to notice that the cell next to mine was empty. This felon should have been in there. Knack the Weasel, the guy who I claim KO'd me, but you were too busy to notice he's missing. Antoine instantly folds and throws himself to the mercy of the court. Sonic assumes this means he's won, but the kangaroos felt differently and charge him with a guilty sentence. Sonic is able to convince Sally that he should be able to go out and prove his innocence. She agrees. In a very conflicted interest kind of way. Sonic has 24 hours and is given a tracker device. Sonic runs off. End of part 2.
I find it interesting Sally was never called to the stand. She has firsthand knowledge of these events.
But that would be a very big conflict of interest, wouldn't it?
I'm just saying, all of this is a conflict of interest. So I do like the fact that you brought up earlier, this is going to be interesting in the context of Sonic being how we see Sonic and his friends react to this kind of situation, right? Because this right here proves they are all loyal to the queen or princess and not Sonic.
Yes.
Rotor literally built a hedgehog heat-seeking missile to kill Sonic if he even thinks about going and trying to do something else, right? That is absolutely insane. And installed it on Buns, who's willing to shoot it.
To be fair, it's to be a little fair, it is like the Superman logic where Batman has a contingency to basically kill the entire Justice League and then some if things get out of hand, because it's fucking.
I push back on that because this isn't like a contingency. This is something that was installed specifically for Sonic because he broke the law.
Okay. Yeah.
Because contingency implies backup plan, right? This is more.
They did this for this situation specifically.
Yeah, this is a direct reaction to what Sonic did earlier.
Yeah, and there's some. The panels where Antoine is just going off on the witnesses, which are just the freedom fighters, is absolutely insane. Look, man. I mean, good on the artists here, because that is something else.
I know we have some audio listeners or only. I highly recommend pulling up the YouTube video to A, give us more views, but B, to look at how intense Antoine is in these pictures where he's grilling rotor tails and buns, because he looks like he's about to choke all of them. It's intense. And he's it's interesting. Like we've always known that Antoine isn't the biggest fan of Sonic, but like the ferocity in which he goes to attack Sonic and his character in these moments, I think really almost colors Antoine in a really bad way, right? I mean, I don't know if it really colors him in a bad way. I'm trying to decide my opinion here. It does, what's the word I'm looking for? It does reframe some of the conversations that Sonic and Antoine have had in the past, where before it always seemed kind of like playful banter, right? But the moment Antoine thinks he can get away with putting Sonic in jail, he just goes like whole hog and like puts all his chips in that basket and tries to put him away in jail, right?
Yeah. Massive ego trip, power trip, everything here. Yeah. He's going for the jugular, basically.
Yeah, no, he went straight for the throat. And like, truthfully, I do love the fact that he did that. I think this is actually very interesting character development. I am here for this.
Yeah, if you don't like what Antoine is doing here, I can. That's a totally fair.
Antoine's a piece of shit.
Yes, but the fact that he is like truly doing something, because before he was just a joke. Here he is something. And it's a little unfortunate because I always assumed he was more, and I think in the TV show he's not that. He stays relegated to like comedic relief and lovable coward kind of thing, right? Who will have his moments. Here he is just a fucking asshole. He is the worst.
Mm-hmm. I am
dig
here
it
for this.
Yeah, I dig
great. It. Okay. Anything else? Should we keep on going?
No, this is just very French of Antoine, truly. Oh, I will say, the kangaroo court, that was a fun pun to bring back.
Yeah, that was a good bit. I like that.
Yeah. Fun fact, the term kangaroo court, it's not really known where that term came from, but
I assumed Australia used to have kangaroos in their courts, and they just couldn't really process anyone because all these kangaroos jumping around and like kicking people, right?
Yeah. According to Wikipedia, it popped up not in Australia, but more so in the US in like the 1800s. And it's like, oh, well, this court was so hastily convened, they like jumped up, or the court is in someone's pocket, like the pouch of a kangaroo. But that's like speculation. So, but either way.
My speculation is the American kangaroos were doing the same thing and just jumping around in the courts.
Where are the kangaroos?
And then we ate
Where'd
them.
they go?
And then we ate them to extinction because we're American.
Yeah, buffaloes.
First the kangaroos, then the buffaloes.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Court Martial Part 3. We open on Robotnik, who is watching Sonic on a remote camera. So he is alive and back to normal. What's he doing up there in the deserted... Is this remote cam monitor the only thing that works around here? Ever since those bombs went off in Robotropolis, my supercomputers have been offline. Curses! It was all working out so well. Mechasonic was my slave. I must give the little princess credit, however. Roboticizing Knuckles was a brilliant tactical move. One she'll soon pay for. My entire SWATbot fleet is working round the clock rebuilding my sooty city. They've already hastily assembled and hot-wired a nuclear power plant. And that's just the beginning. Soon Planet Mobius will quiver beneath my ultimate weapon of destruction. Robotnik begins to do some calculations to triangulate Sonic's position when he gets filled with glee. If Sonic is where he thinks he is, he'll never survive. We cut to Sonic, who's outside the Robo-Hobo Jungle, a place where Robotnik...
That's a really fun name.
Yep.
Sorry, I just love that name so much.
To say it out loud, yeah. a place where Robotnik keeps all the old and obsolete droids. Sonic walks in and all the classic enemies are there. Crabmeat, Caterkiller, Drillbot, Motobug, and more. Sonic defeats them all quite easily. I suppose that's why they are here in the Robo-Hobo jungle to begin with. Sonic is able to get one of the badniks to tell him where to find Knack the Weasel, which is at the bottom of the Barrel Bar and Grill, the seediest dive bar in Mobius. Sonic is met by a gorilla bouncer, who immediately throws Sonic hundreds of feet away. Sonic gets up and runs at the gorilla, full speed, knocking him out instantly and into the bar itself. Sonic sees Knack and walks up to him. Knack puts up his hands, looking like he's going to surrender. But then, a third hand comes out from under his jacket, holding a gas can full of sleeping gas. The arms that are being held up through the sleeves are fakes. Knack sprays the gas and Sonic is instantly knocked out. Knack runs off, calling Robotnik and warning him. End of part 3.
Okay. Absolutely adore, just right off the bat, Knack's trickery with his like fake hands.
His trickery? Yeah, that's
having
funny.
a third. I think that's so funny. He just pulls out a gas canister full of sleeping gas, gets Sonic again with the sleeping gas. Absolutely brilliant move. And I adore the I know I already said it, but the Robo Hobo Jungle, I think very funny name, and I like the fact that there's like a reject area where like all the abandoned badniks go and like hang out.
It's a pretty funny way to acknowledge that Robotnik has moved on from all this kid shit, right? All of this, the holdovers from the games, right?
That's a perfect way to like on a bigger level, like a metaphorical level. Like I almost feel like that's this is like, hey, we're moving on from all these one shots. We're moving on from all these like Saturday morning cartoon-esque like stories, and this is going to be a real comic now, right?
No, that's really cool. And like major development though for your boy Crabmeat. Crabmeat is part of that gang. He is abandoned.
So my theory here, because I refuse to acknowledge that, is I believe that there are different iterations of Crabmeat, and his personality is the same on all of them. It's just his skill level is different. And this is an earlier model.
Okay. No, I'm with it. That's a very that it could be a very possible answer knowing this comic. Yeah. Did we ever see Caterkiller beyond like the prequel or like the?
Oh yeah, Caterkiller has been in a few.
Okay.
For sure.
It's Cluck.
The only
I'm thinking of Cluck, who was in like the first pilot miniseries and then never showed up. I think in the mainline series. I think.
Yeah. Well, in that robot bunny like only showed up once, I think. That's actually why I didn't even name. Oh, Splats.
Oh, sure.
He named himself. I forgot about that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's only in like one issue also.
No, that's pretty funny.
Is there anything else you want to talk about this one?
No, just why a gorilla? I guess it was just big, right?
Well, you know what? That's actually.
Oh wait, actually, sorry, I was going to mention this. Sonic was pretty fucking racist to that gorilla.
I got to reread it.
If you're looking at what he's saying, stand aside. So you didn't write it in the script, which is okay. It was not really that important, but he says, "Stand aside, banana breath," and then he says something else here. He says one. Oh yeah, no, it's almost done. It's almost done. My time's running out. No more monkeying around. That's more of a pun than anything. But he says something else like, "But banana breath." That's got to be a slur, right?
I mean, if he just ate bananas, I don't know, man.
It's one of those incidental things.
I don't see it. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see where you're coming from. I think that one's a little bit of a stretch.
Okay.
Do you think BBBG is like almost a play on CBGB?
What is that? I don't know what that is.
That was an old bar in New York City that was pretty famous in the punk scene. That's kind of where Velvet Underground got their start and stuff like that.
It could be. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's keep on going.
Court Martial, Part 4. Robotnik receives a phone call from Knack. I know that voice. Knack the Weasel. What are you up to? No good, I assume. This is a one-time only surprise special, big boy. 2 million smackers for the location of unconscious Sonic. It's a deal. Stop by for the cash. No way, Gutbag. Not after the way you treated me last time. Just transfer the funds to my account. I'll give you my PIN number. That's outrageous. How do I know Sonic is there? Why aren't you carrying him on your vehicle? That's another negatory. I've stowed him away twice, and each time I got a good thumping. First on Knuckles' floating island, and then at your place. The last thing I want on my sled is that Hedgehog. Just then, the trunk of... Again, I acknowledge that's a shitty Australian accent. It goes back to like Cockney or whatever. I don't know. Just then, the trunk of the sled that Knack is driving opens up. Is that really the trunk? This is
it was the easiest way to describe what happened. Because otherwise I'm trying to describe a basket in the back. That's why. Yep. I sat there for like 5 minutes being like, what's an easy way to describe this?
Yeah. Just then, the rear basket of the sled that Knack is driving opens up, revealing Sonic the Hedgehog conscious and ready to kick butt. There's a giant thump over the radio. What was the last thing you said, Knack? It sounded like thump. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. Robotnik's eyes are filled with fear and dread, specifically mercury thermometers, which I think is a funny choice. Okay. No, it can't be. Not him. I hate you, Hedgehog. Calm down, Tubby. I'm here to discuss your insurance. But are you properly covered, Ivo? What if something unforeseen were to happen? You never know. Some nut could send in an ion sky sled on autopilot and send it to self-destruct. You can't be too careful these days. Are you threatening me with an incoming armed weapon of destruction? A SWAT bot near Robotnik warns him of an incoming armed weapon. There's a giant explosion. We cut to Rotor and Sally trying to figure out what caused the earthquake they just felt. The sensors show an explosion in Robotropolis. Sonic walks in. Sorry about your gadget, Rotor. I had to pop out the windscreen and use it as a gas mask filter, which is not how they fucking work. I'm going to interrupt and just say that is, as someone who has to wear respirators, that is not how they fucking work. Sonic throws Knack on the ground. And here's the creep who tried to gas me, Knack. He'll also confess to ambushing me in the gym and turning me over to Robotnik. Right, Weasel Boy? Rotor takes Knack to the jailhouse, while Sally goes out and makes a public apology to Sonic and reinstates him. The end.
This is about how I would expect it to end, right?
It's a pretty rushed ending. Like very interesting things could have happened, and I feel like we did not explore those things properly, but whatever.
I definitely do feel like it fumbled on this last act, but overall, I think it was a fantastic issue. I do the mesh. You're right to call it out. That like weirdly super annoyed me.
Yeah.
It just feels like such a cheap way to end it. Like I feel like we could figure like 10 minutes of like shooting the shit. I feel like we can figure out a better ending of like, or a better way to get out of that situation, right? Than popping off a mesh on a walkie-talkie. So overall,
which is not how it works. That is not how that works.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, I can't be disappointed by that because outside of that, I truly think this is like a fantastic issue. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I love the ideas that they're putting forth. I love that there seems to be consequences. We'll see if we'll continue that later and whatnot. But overall, I like this one.
And look, is it cartoony? It's very cartoony. It is. In the action, in the way characters talk, it's very cartoony, but I'm okay with that because, as you said, yes, actions, or there are consequences to what was set up previously, and you also get that exploration of at least in the first two parts, right? You get that exploration of the dynamic of the freedom fighters under this kind of duress. Whereas, unfortunately, I wish we could have gotten more of that. I wish it could have been resolved in a way that didn't just rely on Sonic having to prove his own. Or, I don't know what exactly I wanted, but something about the ending, which is not the worst critique in the world, but it could have been. It could have. I guess I feel like it could have incorporated more of the freedom fighters themselves. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I had to just do it by himself. I don't know what I'm saying. But truthfully, yes. The thing that was most interesting was the dynamic of, hey, Sonic is guilty here of something, and who's gonna, when the chips are down, as I said earlier, who's gonna come to his side? And I thought that was the most interesting thing of this issue. It's a pretty good issue.
Agreed, for sure.
It probably also helps that there was literally nothing else, that it was a single story issue.
It is my favorite thing that they're doing. I think it's weird. I still feel like it's like a union thing or something, why they have to cut it up into parts. But I am glad that like we just have one full issue of just like, this is what's happening. It's a great. It just feels a lot better, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like as rushed as some of these other comics. And that's the issue. Only 529 left to go. I'm Nick. I stream at twitch.tv/Mojosaurus. And my personal blue sky is at Mojosaurus.
And I'm Dominic. You can follow my people power and jazz adventures in Chicagoland at Blue Collar Jazz. And I'm on Blue Sky at Domguan.
You can follow us on socials at Gotta Talk Fast. TikTok is Gotta Talk Faster. We also have a video version of the podcast where you can watch along with our handsome faces. You can write into the show at sonicrhymes@gottatalkfast.com, ask us questions, provide corrections, and give us your opinion on this week's issue. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And remember, when life keeps going fast, you gotta talk fast and just get through it. I love you.
Gotta talk, gotta talk.
Gotta Talk Fast was written by Nick Folkerts and edited by Dominic Guanzon. Intro and outro themes recorded by Dominic Guanzon. Gotta Go Fast originally composed by Norman J. Grossfeld, Joseph Garrity, and Russell Velasquez.
Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast.